Good afternoon and welcome to the first edition of ADRP TV. My name's Brett Hore, together with my wife Nicole, our son Jack, and many assistants and helpers. We'll be bringing you updates on Australian drag racing from around Australia and around the world in upcoming events. Okay, let's sit back and listen to Paul talk about his beautiful new Mustang, the previous event and his upcoming challenges heading back to the States. Alright, so we're here with Paul Mouhayet of the Moits Racing fame. Paul, just could you give us a little very quick update on your last trip to the PDRA with your new extreme car?
Yeah, we took the car out for the first time in Martin, Michigan. I had my crew from here, the CMV Performance guys and GD Race Car, and my brother came along with the Proline Racing boys, and we decided to throw the car into Pro Boost. We put a little bit of weight in it. First full pass, the car went 383 at 206. Top qualified out of 18 cars. Won best appearance, best performance. So we won a few awards there. Made it to the semi-finals where I mucked up on the tree. And yeah, that's about it. The car's gone back to Tim McAmis Racecars for a couple of modifications because I couldn't see very well. And yeah, that's about where we're at. Okay,
Paul, I'm glad you brought up the driver error on the start line. I wasn't going to be that bold because you're a big guy. But for those of us who don't understand the nuances of driving one of these turbo cars, can you give us a small insight into what it's like pre-staging, staging and launching one of these new Turbo Pro Extreme cars?
Yeah, look, it's no different to my 10.5 car here in Australia. Obviously, it's got a bigger tyre on it, bigger turbos, and probably makes another 800 to 1,000 horsepower more than the car here. But the staging procedures and everything are pretty much the same. Basically, we go into stage, roll into stage, bring the first bulb on and get brake pressure where we want it. Press the trans brake button and bring the RPM up till it hits a two-step and then bump the car in. Basically what happened was Tataro's a very sharp driver. I knew he was going to be good on the tree. He started to hang me out, so I hung him out, and as he went into stage, I went to go in as well, and my brake pressure wasn't where I needed it, so I balked for, it was probably a second, and then by the time it got up on the two-step, I got timed out, so
okay.
You know, you cop a red light for that. Big lesson learned. You know, obviously the turbo car should go in before the blower car, but if everything went the way it should have, I would have been right, but it didn't, and that's how it goes.
Well, based on the fact that it was your first event in a brand new car, Paul, I think everyone's cutting you a little bit of slack. But if you could just expand on a couple of points you said there. One was brake pressure and then putting the trans brake on. Some of us won't understand why the brake pressure is important when you're running a trans brake. And the second thing is if you could just give us a little bit of intimate detail on this bumping it in on the trans brake. We see the turbo cars bounce around when they're going in. Can you first talk about the brake pressure and then the actual bumping in?
Yeah, look, it really depends on what brakes you have on the car, whether they be carbon or steel brakes, as to how much brake pressure you apply. Basically, you pick the right brake pressure for your application, and then you hold the trans brake button and it holds the brake pressure while the trans brake's on, so that when you do hit the bump button, the car doesn't rock backwards and forwards. So basically, you're not relying on the transmission to stop the car from rocking. Even though the trans brake's still applied and it won't let the car move anywhere, the brake pressure stops the car from rocking. So, and the bump box, all the bump box is a little device that momentarily opens and closes the trans brake solenoid. So much faster than you or I could ever do it. As you press the button, there's settings on there, and it just opens and closes the trans brake button to let you creep into the second bulb.
So each time you press the bump button, a computerized amount of time disengages the trans brake and then re-engages it. That's why we see that violent jump forward.
That's right, and the brake pressure is to try and take a little bit of the violence out of it. Not for the driver comfort, just so that the car's not still rocking backwards and forwards when you let go of the trans brake, because as you can appreciate, if you let go of it and the car's rocking forwards, it could unload the tyre. So
yeah, understood.
We just try and minimise the movement of the car.
And all of this time, whilst you're doing all of that, you're also supposed to be getting the thing up on boost, getting it to the right RPM, and getting ready to cut a decent light.
Yeah, it's look, I try and cut good lights in testing and everything else that we do here, just so that you stay on your game. And I went over there and I was cutting 050s, 060s, and basically the Proline boys are looking at me going, "What's up, mate? Are you asleep?" And I'm like, "Wow, okay."
Okay, so it was a huge jump in every aspect of the sport for you going over to the PDRA.
Yeah, look, I actually thought that the big tyre car would be more forgiving because it's got a bigger tyre, obviously. It's a longer wheelbase than my 10.5 car. And basically thought it would be a dream to drive, and let me tell you, I was wrong. I let go of that button and it scared the shit out of me.
Paul, what sort of 60 foots were you cutting? We've seen recently in the PDRA, some of these guys are getting down into the 800 range in a Dord car. I mean, that's not too long ago, that was top fuel territory only.
Yeah, they're the blower cars. Look, the screw-blown cars are obviously really fast to the 330. If you watch a Pro Extreme race and if they're door handle to door handle between a blower and a turbo car, at the 330, the blower car's got no hope to the other end. But it's the first 300 foot that the blower car really accelerates hard. Look, I went 983, I think, in the 60. As you can appreciate, we've only had 7 runs on the car, so we weren't really trying to kill it.
Yes.
But Eric from Proline's gone 941 in a Q80 car. That's the fastest 60-footer turbo car's ever gone. That's really where we're lacking. If we can make them 60 like the blower cars do, the turbo cars are going to be a long way ahead. As you can see, they've gone 221 mile an hour to half.
Yeah, well, I think speaking on behalf of the blower guys, we're all pretty happy you guys are, in inverted talking marks, slow to the 330. Yeah,
don't get too excited because there's some things happening, and it won't be long before we're up there with the blower cars to the 330.
Well, it's awesome to see the mix of blowers, turbos and nitrous over there, and hopefully it won't be too long before we can see something like that here soon. But no doubt we'll talk further about that on another call, another day.
Yep, well, I can't wait for it, mate. We definitely need to do something. There's plenty of turbo cars here that are willing to run blower guys, so if we can all get together and make it happen, it'd be great.
All right, and just in closing, Paul, to give people some insight to your beautiful new car. I mean, we've all seen the pictures on Facebook, and you've done a tremendous job. As you said, only done 7 laps and already pulled out the numbers that you had. But just to give us an idea, what sort of wheelbase, weight, horsepower, cubic inch, and turbos and transmission are you running in that car?
Yeah, look, it's a 114-inch wheelbase, 2014 Tim McAmis Mustang. It's 526 cubic inch Alan Johnson 481X by Proline engines. It's got twin 98mm Gen 2 Pro Mod precision turbos on it. And it's got a 3-speed Rosler transmission in it. It probably makes in the vicinity of 4,000 horsepower. Okay,
so it's got a standard style converter in it, or has it got a Bruno drive? How's it coupled?
No, it's got like a Pro Torque converter in it, same as what everybody else uses, same as what I've got in my 10.5 car, actually.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, we wish you the very best here from ADRP in your venture over to the PDRA, and your new event will be the Outlaw Streetcar Nationals, no doubt, is the next event you're headed to?
Yeah, yep, the Streetcar Super Nationals in St. Louis. It's outlaw, no rules, quarter-mile racing, so for the people in Australia that don't really like the 8 mile stuff, it'll be good fun to watch what we can do in the quarter. And if you take the half-track numbers that we've already run, it should be pretty impressive.
Well, we will look forward to that, and hopefully you can keep us all posted throughout the social media world. So again, thank you, Paul, for your time, and we'll look forward to hearing the next instalment of Moits Racing.
No worries. Thank you very much.